Welcome to Neurodivergent Faith, a podcast to help you navigate the beautiful and complicated intersection of neurodivergence and Christian faith and practice. My name's Josh Davis. I'm autistic, ADHD, a spiritual director, and an ordained pastor. And I'm delighted to have you join me as we explore the unique ways neurodivergent people experience God, worship, community, and scripture, along with special interests, sensory and attention differences, social and communication challenges, and much more. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Neurodivergent Faith. From time to time, I like to check in with my own process and with the things in my life that are working for me and not working for me in any given season. And I've done a few episodes of this in the past, and it is spring here where I live. I live outside of Atlanta, Georgia. And though we're experiencing a bit of cooler weather today than is normal for spring, but it's definitely spring because my allergies have been announcing that to me for a couple of months. I wanted to check in today and share some of the things I'm noticing that are working for me in this season and some of the things that aren't working for me in this season. And my hope is that even as you hear me process some of these things, number one, it'll normalize some of the things that you might be experiencing. It'll normalize the idea that something might work for a season and then shift and not work anymore. It'll also, I hope, get you thinking about what is working for you in this season and what's not working for you, and give you some permission and freedom to move towards the things that are working and to maybe step away from or pull back on some of the things that are not working for you. So before we jump in to my list, I first want to say it's always working for me to hear from you. Just getting to hear from you, the listeners, what's resonating with you, what's sticking out to you. It's so meaningful to me. And I wanted to read a couple of comments that I've received lately that have been meaningful to me. So Bearded Cheesy says, "This is the podcast I knew I wanted, but didn't know how to ask for. Thank you for your vulnerability and openness in sharing. 5 minutes in and hooked." Oh my gosh, so encouraging. You know, when I started this podcast, I had no idea if anyone would care, if it would resonate with anyone. And so to get some feedback like that just makes me very happy today. Thank you. Also heard recently from Virginia Feliciano 9318. Their comment says, "I think God has put you in my path to help me truly understand how to deal with a neurodivergent adult child and grandchild. Listening to this episode, I saw myself in so many of those scenarios and how I treated my daughter because as a Gen X person, we didn't put up with any of that nonsense, right? And definitely not putting up with a child's tantrums and disrespect. But now that she's an adult and we live in an era that is a lot more open to learning about these issues, I see how I failed her and how I'm trying to do better with her and my granddaughter. You hit the nail on the head with the hugging and the touching because my granddaughter really does not like that. And my husband for so many years has seen that as her being disrespectful. But I'm definitely going to share this with him so that he can understand what she's feeling. God bless you and thank you. I will definitely listen to many more of your podcasts." Again, so encouraging. My hope is that this podcast helps us understand one another better, helps family members and loved ones understand one another better, helps brothers and sisters in Christ and church leaders understand neurodivergent believers better. So thanks for your comments. Keep them coming. That is working for me. I'm really grateful. So since we've been talking a lot about parenting over the last number of episodes, I thought I would start this list out with some things that are working for me as a parent and some things that are not working for me as a parent in this season. Let's start with what is working. Number one, singing together is working for our family. It's something that we can all enjoy. Each person in our family enjoys music and enjoys singing at some level. And so we've been working on singing a specific song in 3-part harmony. And everybody's really enjoying it, and it's a way of connecting that doesn't require a lot of emotional communication, but it's something that we can enjoy. And singing is really regulating for the body. So I think that contributes to it as well. That when you sing or when you hum, you activate your vagus nerve, which signals calm to your body. And so that's really working for us. We have a weekly Sabbath gathering for our family where we'll eat dinner and then hang out together as we start our Sabbath. And after dinner, every once in a while, we'll go sit around the piano and learn a song in harmony. And it's just been delightful. Another thing that's working for us is object-focused interactions. And singing, actually is one of those. As we sing together, we're focusing on the act of singing, not necessarily focusing on one another. We don't have to look at each other's faces or be across the table from one another, those kinds of things. We've also got a couple of TV shows that we can all enjoy. So actually sitting and eating and watching a show together, an object-focused interaction is working well. Sometimes this can also be a game or a project, an art project that we work on together, where we're all focused on the same thing, but we don't have to directly focus on one another. Several members of my family really struggle with not wanting to be perceived, not wanting attention on them, and then also some demand avoidance. So these object-focused interactions can be really helpful for us. Another thing that's working for us in this season is we actually found a way of doing vacation that's working for us. And that's been a big deal because our vacations have been tough historically because, you're out of your element, you're out of your schedule. Everybody has different sensory needs. Everybody has different needs for stimulation. Some need more stimulation, others need less stimulation, et cetera. And that can be really challenging on vacation. But we did something on our last vacation that actually was a win, and I imagine we're going to keep on doing that. And that is, we came up with a daily schedule for vacation that was the same every day. And so we would start with a late breakfast, and we would gather and eat breakfast, and then we would have a little bit of downtime or get ready for the daytime. And then we would have a 3 or 4 hour chunk in the middle of the day where we would have some sort of activity. Now, the activity changed every day, but the schedule stayed the same. And so that worked really, really well. And then we would have, after time together, we would have some time alone so people could do what they wanted to do or just have their introvert time. And then we would come back together to watch a show that we were all enjoying together while eating dinner. And that worked out really, really well. Also, our kids are older, and so I created a Google Doc and sent it out ahead of time, like maybe 4 or 5 days or a week ahead. And that gave everybody a chance to know what to expect, to prepare mentally, etc. It was the best vacation we've ever had. People were the most relaxed. We were able to engage with one another in really positive and healthy ways. And it was a really good balance of together time and alone time. So that was a win. What's not working as a parent in this season? Number one, forced communication or forced conversations. They're just not working. And that's a little bit hard for me as a parent because my pace is to move pretty quickly. And so I'm ready to have a conversation. I'm ready to have it now. Waiting a day is hard. Waiting a few days is really hard. Recently, in order to honor another family member's pace, I've put the ball in their court. And it meant that we waited about 3 weeks to have a conversation, which was super hard for me. But forcing the conversation doesn't go well. It puts the other person into threat mode, and often there's defensiveness or shutdown. So recently, as I said, put the ball in their court. Took about 3 weeks to have the conversation, but the end result of the conversation was so much better. So forced communication is not working. Even like question and answer time, which I really appreciate personally. I would love every meal to just have a few questions that we all go around the table and answer, but those questions feel like a demand to many of the members of my family. And so again, their nervous system goes into threat mode and it's just not a positive interaction. So forced communication, not working well, but trying to make space to kind of go with conversation and communication when someone is open to it and up for it, that's working better. Another thing that's not working super well for us is mealtime. It's super challenging. There's all kinds of sensory issues around meals together. Sound of people chewing really bothers some of the people in our family. The sound of any kind of cutlery hitting a plate really bothersome. There's smell issues, there's food texture issues, there's sitting across the table from one another issues, there's eye contact, demand, all of those things come into play. So we have some regularly scheduled meal times together, but we're loosening up on that and finding that that's working well to just give a little bit more freedom and autonomy and variety for ways that we connect around meals. So that's it for parenting and family. I encourage you to think what's working for your family in this season, what's working for you as a parent in this season, and what is not working. And bring these things to God. Talk to God about them and ask for wisdom as you choose life and you choose to move towards what is life-giving in this season and away from the things that may be draining the life out of you. So let's talk personally now. What are some things that are working for me or not working for me in this season? And I'm going to mix this up a little bit. So we'll go back and forth between working and not working. One thing that's working for me in this season is I've asked my wife if we could have some stay-at-home dates. We typically have dates one night a week. We've done that for years. The rhythm of that is really good for us. But I started to realize that going out in public, going into loud restaurants or restaurants that even might not seem loud, there's just so much stimulation. And it was draining me and not giving my best energy to actually be present and connect with my wife. So we've done some stay-at-home dates recently, and those have really worked for me. And it's nice to know that those are an option, especially in weeks where I'm feeling overwhelmed or overstimulated, to ask, hey, for our date this week, can we just stay at home? We'll swing on the swing outside in our yard. We'll listen to the birds, watch the trees. We'll talk. We'll play some games together. We'll watch a show together. We may have leftovers or we may order some food delivered, but something to keep it feeling special, but also really relaxed and in a sensory soothing environment. So that's really working for me. Another thing that's working for me in this season is you may or may not know, but I'm a musician, I'm a songwriter. I've written hundreds of songs, and I've just recently discovered an AI music production platform that allows me to upload the songs that I've written. I can just sit at the piano, sing them through. I can upload them to this platform, and it will create with me, giving some prompts and some guidance. It will create a whole arrangement for the song. And I am having so much fun with that. It's something I can do in like 10 or 15 minutes. I can create a couple versions of a song. And the pace of that is wonderful, by the way. I just like how quickly that works. But then also, it's a 10 or 15-minute thing I can do in the middle of my day when I feel my energy dipping down or when I might be distressed or have gone through something challenging or difficult. I can spend 10 or 15 minutes on this. And because music is a special interest for me, and there's some novelty there. Just really boosts my energy, boosts my spirits, and I'm loving it. And later this year, I turn 50, and I've decided for my 50th birthday, I'm going to release 50 new songs. Most of them are never released before songs that I've written. Some of them may be remixes of songs because I'm also enjoying some of the remixes I'm creating. So, yeah, that is totally working for me. And it's been a real consistent source of delight and gratitude for me in this season. Something that's not working for me is I had one other space other than my house that felt like a safe space. I have this restaurant that I've been going to for a number of years, probably 3 or 4 years, at least once a week, oftentimes more than that. Sometimes I'll go and just have a drink. Sometimes I'll go and have a meal or a snack. But it's a place that I can walk to. It's about a 3 mile walk there. I can walk there, take a book, do something, and then walk home. It's just been such a source of comfort for me. And like I said, the only place other than my office at home that feels like a safe space for me to be unmasked specifically. But about 4 weeks ago, things in my favorite restaurant started to change. They changed the decor, and I was kind of mildly okay with that. Next, they changed the menu and the prices. They didn't take any of my favorite things off the menu. Let's be honest. I only have two things I really order there. They didn't take either of those two things off the menu. Uh, but they added some things, which is fine, and the prices went up, which is challenging. So all of a sudden, I'm starting to think, well, maybe I can't go quite as often just for budget reasons, right? And then they changed the system of the restaurant. So it used to be I could walk up to the counter, I could order what I always order, say the same exact thing that I always say, and then pick my own table, go sit down, and no one would bother me or talk to me for the rest of the time that I was there. And so it was a really safe space for me to unmask and just be. But now the system has changed and they are seating people. So you can't choose where you want to sit. And there's this interaction at the beginning with the person seating you. And then there's an interaction with somebody who comes and takes your order. And then there's another interaction for them to check and make sure that you're okay. And that it just has completely changed the vibe for me there. And so sadly, I don't feel safe in that space anymore by myself. I can go there with another person or with a group of people, and I can still really enjoy the food. But in terms of a space where I can be unmasked and be myself, I don't feel safe there anymore. And that's a huge loss for me. And it's a loss because it's connected to my Sabbath day rhythm. So every Sabbath day, I would walk there and I would eat lunch and I would read, and then I would walk further, and then I would finally make my way home. And so now my whole Sabbath rhythm is out of whack, and I'm trying to come up with a new Sabbath rhythm. I'm trying some things. They're kind of working, but they're not the same. And if you know, you know. It's actually been really hard and distressing. When a safe space changes, that's tough. You might pause there and just think about that for yourself or for other neurodivergent folk in your life. Has one of the safe spaces that they have changed or shifted in some way? And you know if that's affecting them. Churches, for example, if you change your decor or your seating arrangement, or you change the typical order of service or whatever, do you know how that affects the people around you, the neurodivergent folk who might be a part of your congregation? So also for years, what's been working for me is every morning I have an everything bagel with cream cheese, Italian seasoning, and garlic salt. I've been eating that same thing for breakfast for years, maybe 3 or 4 years now. And it's still working at some level. I had that this morning, but I can feel things are starting to change. And again, that is unsettling for me. I can feel that there are times where I'm like, I don't want that bagel. And for years, I have never felt that. I always wanted it. I've tried some other foods here and there for breakfast over the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I have a feeling that this is shifting. I'd love to know for you, when you have a safe food that you love and it's your go-to, and then it starts to shift and you start to not want it anymore, you start to get tired of it, or maybe even get disgusted by it. Um, Send me an email or hit me up on social media and let me know what that's been like for you. I could use some encouragement because I can feel it shifting and it's really destabilizing. Another thing that's not working for me in this season are schedule changes. And for the last 2 months, every week has had some major schedule changes in it. And I've just been on edge. Thankfully, this past week, I got 4 days in a row of just the normal routine schedule. And that was a deep exhale for me. I could feel my body, my brain, my whole being start to relax a little bit. So I think I've turned the corner on that, but there was about 2 months where every week there were major schedule changes and I was just on edge, kind of amped up, braced, annoyed. It's so hard for me to motivate myself to do certain things that are not on the schedule when I just want to do the thing that's on the schedule. And when that can't happen for some reason, it's really hard for my brain to switch gears. Something that is working for me in this season is we've just started having monthly gatherings on Zoom for Neurodivergent Faith listeners. You may remember a while back, I asked if anybody was interested in sort of a monthly Zoom spiritual community where we could engage scripture and pray and share together, to reach out. And a number of you did. And I am loving meeting with you. It's so good for my soul to be in a space where we don't have to explain ourselves. There's so much resonance as we're processing out loud our own spiritual journeys of faith, our own connection with Jesus. I just am really encouraged every time by the way that you all who are in the group take care of one another and encourage one another and pray for one another. It's really, really beautiful. So that's working for me, and I feel really grateful about that. If you're looking for that kind of space, feel free to email me and let me know that you're interested, and I'll let you know when the next gathering will be. We're meeting monthly right now, and it is delightful. Another thing that's working for me in this season is my special interest of musicals is still alive and well. And some of you may remember that I have an Aura ring that gives me biofeedback and tracks, my my heart rate and my temperature and my stress level, etc. And when I go to a musical, I went to one this past week. Um, it's a lot to get there because I have to drive downtown. Traffic is a thing. Parking is a thing. There's a lot of people in this theater. There's people everywhere. I always have my noise canceling AirPods in, and some music playing softly as I'm navigating through the theater and finding my seat, and even as I'm waiting for the show to start. But as soon as the show starts, my Aura ring will register anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes of where it thinks I'm taking a nap. And it's actually, I'm so excited. I'm so alive. I'm delighted for the first 45 minutes of the show. I'm just enthralled and it thinks I'm napping. So that's still working for me. It happened last week. I think I got 44 minutes of quote unquote nap time. And this is a thing. Special interests, when we can focus on our special interest, it often puts our body in a state of flow. It's actually really restorative. So one of the things you can do if you're feeling burnt out or you're feeling low in terms of energy is to give yourself some extra doses of special interest time. It's actually incredibly resourcing and healing for us. Still working for me, laundry on Thursdays. I put my laundry in at 7:55 a.m. every Thursday. It's great because, again, my family is still sleeping. I don't have to compete with anybody. And now everybody in my household knows 7:55 a.m. on Thursdays is my laundry time. So I can just take care of it. I do it in between sessions, meeting with spiritual direction clients. And so I'll put it in, have a session, change it over to the dryer, have another session, fold the clothes, and I'm done. And it's seamless, it's delightful, and I look forward to doing my laundry. Lastly, some of my spiritual practices are still working for me. I still have a daily journal practice. I've noticed over the last month or two that my journal entries have gotten a lot more colorful. I'm adding markers in and more imagery. I'm enjoying actually creating an aesthetic on the page that is pleasing to me. One of the things that's really working for me in this season is every day I have a Father Forgive Them section where go back through the day, previous day, and think about, were there moments where people offended me? Were there things people did, maybe even without knowing, that were threatening to me in some way, shape, or form? And one by one, I just pray and release, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And I let go. That daily practice of forgiving and letting go has been something that has lightened the load that I'm carrying. I'm not bringing all of that stuff with me into the next day. So then after I forgive others, I then ask the same question of the Lord, is there something that I did yesterday or didn't do that offended you or wasn't best for the people around me or for myself? And so I'll pray and ask for forgiveness from the Lord and forgive myself as well. That's been really working for me. And then I have a weekly practice of going back over the week in a prayer review and tracking with my life and with Jesus's movement in my life, with the things that God has provided, with the ways that I've seen God working in me or through me in any given week, with the challenges that I've faced, even certain ones that are ongoing that keep appearing each week. Just being able to track that with myself and with the Lord, it's been really, really helpful. So I hope that you're finding some practices. Maybe they've been with you for a long time, or maybe they're something new. Maybe they're simple or complex. I just hope that you're finding some practices, even if it's one or two, that are helping you connect with God in this season and helping you connect deeply with your own soul as well. Thanks for listening. As always, I'd love to hear from you. Drop me an email or find me on social media, Josh Davis on Facebook, Autistic Pastor on Instagram, and you can find my email in the show notes. Thanks for listening to this episode of Neurodivergent Faith. If you like what you heard, consider subscribing, leaving a review, or sharing this with someone who might need to hear it too. And as you continue to wrestle with faith and identity, remember, your unique brain is a part of God's creative genius. Whether it's the way you process scripture, engage with prayer, or connect with others, you are a reflection of the vast creativity of our Creator. May you trust that God knows you, delights in you, and is working in you exactly as you are. And may you know that you are not walking this journey alone. See you next time.